and we want the fans out of their seat. We want to score goals. We want to get them, momentum on our side, and then on the flip side is when we don't have the ball, is it we got to be dogs.
Fresh back in the side and making an impact. Well, that feels like the kitchen sink Eric Cole's been talking about. High energy start for FC Dallas.
Farrington fired the warning shot moments.
Hey, and we're live. We are live, and here's Jose. It's the two of us right now. Well, welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show. And yes, Petar Musa, that goal, that beautiful goal, injected into my veins. What a turnaround. What a huge performance for FC Dallas as they take down Austin FC 2-0. But before we get into that, of course, I'm Nathan. You can follow me at Afterburn Soccer. And joining us is our buddy Jose at El Chico Carmona.
What's up, everybody?
And we might see Chris in a little bit. We might see Colin. This is life. We might have to find a new time of the show if we want to hear Colin's sultry baritone from time to time. And I would love to hear his take. He might be able to join in a bit. I'm sure he was at the game and can talk about the crowd and the energy that was present in Frisco on Saturday night. So we got two results then to talk about. Of course, FC Dallas and North Texas SC. We'll talk about North Texas a little bit later. Maybe Chris can jump on it and give us a little feedback there. But let's get right into it. Jose. And here he is. Here's the man with the plan. Colin. All right, you're on. Well, let's get right into it. Let's do this. Just feelings about this result. What a massive result. 2-0 at home. I mean, FC Dallas. We have seen this team building, but this was without a doubt one of their strongest performances of the year on both sides of the ball. Just curious how you guys feel about that. Colin, we'll start with you. I'm assuming you made it to the game Saturday night?
I did, and it was actually nice. I usually have unfortunately, an Austin fan that tags along with me to these games, so I'm never in the section. But he did not show up, so I was actually able to be in the section for the first time since the Cobo Tejas clinching match in 2020, or 2021 rather. So it was fun to be in the section for that kind of rivalry game. It was nice. It was amazing. To put it bluntly, whenever we came out firing in the first half, I was with Sam, and I told him straight up, I was like, we look good. Like we don't usually when we start slow, or we don't want the ball. Like we make it very evident what our game plan usually is in the first minute or 5 minutes in the match. And it came very clear very early on, if you watch the match back, that we were going to go for it. We were going to try and push, because we not only need points to get into the playoffs, which it's looking good for us to sneak in, which if you told me that 3 months ago, I would have told you you're lying. But we came out firing. Logan Farrington puzzles me as a player, because he's so tall and lanky, but he's so controlled with dribbling and is able to do these fancy flicks like you would see like a Barrios or a Castillo from back in the day pull off. And he can just pull off these fancy flicks and tricks. An amazing back heel to Petar, who one-on-one with no one in front of him for 12 yards, he's not missing that. And then another moment I want to say that kind of dictated the outcome of the game is the Stuver yellow card in the, I want to say it was in the first half. The moment that happened and Stuver lost his head, it kind of derailed that back line for Austin. I don't know if it was a communication error past that point or if it was frustration, but from that moment on, Austin became super, like even sloppier at the back. They weren't able to do the transitions from the wing back to the midfield like little diamonds like they like to do, and that Nico tried to implement with our team in his last year with us. Um, so it's one of those things where you could see how Austin was wanting to play before that incident and after, and it was a huge difference. Um, and going into the second half, Austin, because Nico was smart, he picked that up, and I'll give credit to where credit's due. He tried to change it up a little bit. You could tell by how Austin were playing in those first couple minutes in the second half. They were playing a little bit more expressive, but also being more cautious at the back while doing so, and it ended up costing them. They were being expressive and got the set piece, and we were able to counter there for that goal. And Kamungo, it is poetry, and it is beautiful that the man who got transitioned to left wing back last year by Nico and looked god awful is playing left wing back and scores against them. I love that. I'm happy for Kamungo. His 2 games where he looked the best at left wing back were Austin away and Austin at home. He's in that role where he can kind of free roam, and having Uragide back in the lineup, I feel more confident to let Shaq play as a center back, because if we need to, shift it to a 4-back and let Kamungo kind of roam and do his own thing up the left wing, and that's what this is intended to do. This is what the 3-backs that / 5-back is what it's meant to do, is be able to transition and move where we need people to. And it happened later in the half where we put in the 3 center backs across the back and moved Ramiro into the midfield for a little bit and then switched again. Like it's good for versatility for our players, where we have players that can play multiple positions, like Ramiro, who can play center back and right back. Nolan Norris, if he needs to play, can play midfield, left center back, or possibly even a fullback role. We've seen that before as well. Kamungo can play left wing or even up top. Same thing with Julio. Like, this is a formation where we can rotate players heavily if needed. So, heaven forbid, a major injury happens, we have 2 or 3 people that can take their place in that spot. And it's something that I think Quill is finally confident to run, and it's working. It's pulling off. And if you look at it from a positional point of view, a lot of different players in that starting 11 compared to last year, but it's not too far off the base of what Nico was wanting to do. So a lot of these players kind of have that base idea of like, okay, here's how we played this last year, and here's how we can build off of that going into this year. And I think that's what helps a lot with people like Ibiaga, Kamungo, players that struggled in that 3-back last year, and how they can improve and be better this year. But just going back to the game, like just for the game itself, it was an amazing game, amazing to watch. Austin has yet to take more than 1 point in 4 years at Toyota Stadium, which is hilarious, and I love it. So it's one thing. I'm glad we were able to keep defending Fortress Frisco against Austin, and seeing their fans immediately, like right as the final whistle blew, they left. They wanted to leave, supposedly, according to security. They were supposed to wait till after the drone show. They literally started walking out of the stadium. They were so mad. Love that. And the timeline on Twitter afterwards, being able to spam the memes and everything, was really fun too. So overall, really great performance. Honestly, like a 9.5, 10 out of 10 performance. If we keep playing like that for the rest of these games, we got 2 games against the Galaxy. We got a game against Portland on the road, which if we play our 3-back against the road against Portland, that's going to be a really good end-to-end match. With the San Jose schedule too, San Jose has to play some pretty tough opponents. San Diego, Austin at home. They have to play, I believe, 2 more of the top 4 teams in the West away from home as well, I believe. I'm on my phone, so I can't really scroll out and look to double check. But they have I thought our schedule was tough-ish. Theirs is way tougher, and we're 1 point, 1 game in hand behind them. If we can get that draw, or we can get that win, preferably that win and win out, if we're making it into playoffs, we're going to sneak in, and I think we would, as of now, play Colorado in that play-in match, which would be fun for the little little rivalry we got on for the show. That'd be a little bit
That's right.
fun. Get some redemption from early in the year too, where we should have won, but it's just one of those things where Dallas has turned it around, and for the whole season, I've been telling you I've been cautious about predicting us to get wins at home, and I've been cautious. I'm starting to let the delusion set in. I'm not that cautious anymore about those results. I think we'll start getting those wins now if we keep playing like this.
9 out of 10. Good. I mean, Jose, your thoughts about this big win?
Most complete game of the season from the jump. I mean, I I think I've been very vocal all season about how this team has maybe played one half of complete football and has played in spurts, but this is the first match where I felt this team was in control from the jump. Uh, I don't feel they were ever truly threatened, and we had, I mean, we had outstanding performances from Musa, who's I said earlier in the season that I thought he had a shot at that 18 goal, uh, a shot at breaking, most goals scored in a season, and he's certainly looking in the form that he's carrying. That's not a question, and frankly, we need him to keep that form if this team wants to make that run into the playoffs. So, uh, yeah, no, I was very excited throughout the match. Like I said, I think they're the most composed. This team just seemed relaxed. I think they could tell they were in control. They seem to be having fun out there as a whole. Uh, Kappas has the combination of Kappas and Riving and Delgado finding his groove has suddenly strengthened that midfield that was a sieve for most of the season. We now have solid midfield play, and it's very exciting. I want to say that I want to say that it's obvious which players had great games. Kamungo, Musa, Farrington. But I'm going to do a shout out to somebody who I think had a sneaky good game that maybe you don't see it. Maybe when I say it, you'll be like, no, I don't see it. But it's make sure I get it right. But it's Ramiro over on at right wing, because if you look, if you saw the game and even if you look up at the heat map, Austin chose to come at that side, and they came at that side thinking that they could exploit uh, that side of the field. They kept coming on their left, which is our right, and Ramiro, Ibiaga. I mean, those guys who, let's face it, we you don't think of them as the fastest players or the most consistent players, but they were rock solid. Maybe it doesn't show up in the stats, but I thought they did a great job of snuffing out the attack. And when I say they came down our right side, their left, you can look up their heat map. They came at that side hard. They very rarely attacked over on Kamungo's side, and frankly, that gave Kamungo, combined with other things that Dallas did, gave him that freedom to push forward and have probably his best match of the season. And yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Dallas fan, you're excited. I know this guy's excited because he's cheering for Dallas to make the playoffs so they can play against Colorado in the game.
We just talked about that, and Marcin just froze right there. Well, I think this question from a buddy from the Unyoked podcast. We just talked about. I have a clip here from Eric Quill from postgame that we can get to. But what was interesting after the game when we talk about the midfield? Well, Quill was just glowing. Quill was just glowing for contributions from everyone, Ramiro included. Jose, to your point. But yep. Christian Kappas in particular has just the question the question I asked him was, sometimes these summer signings, they take a while to really acclimate to the league. But Christian Kappas, and he certainly, his first game wasn't great. I think they started him at left wing back in that game, and it wasn't the most inspiring
It
performance.
was disastrous.
But then, he just kept improving, and his confidence is growing and his skill on the field. And one thing that Quill noted, and I think this is what answers your question to our viewers out there, is communication. That Christian Kappas is really good and really focused on communicating to Kaique, to Ramiro, to Delgado, is to kind of be that presence that sort of calms things down, finds space, uses both of his feet, but also is getting forward, knowing how to advance the ball. But just so he's really stepped up in a leadership role that's really helped his midfield just look night and day. And I think,
True.
and I've had some little, thinking of like, really, Christian Kappas, is that our big time signing? And
it has been.
And it has been. He has been fantastic.
While Marcin has joined us, I want to thank his Colorado Rapids for handing the Houston Dynamo big fat loss, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I wish they hadn't waited till the last, very last moment to win, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm on here just to be an asshole today, because I will be seeing you next week at home at FC Dallas, and these next 2 weeks, I want to,
Yeah, get it. It's gonna be a tough one next week. It's gonna be a big one.
He's gonna be talking. Match shit. That's fine. I welcome it. It's
I am not here to mess your podcast up, but I'm definitely here not to, make you feel so
stick
good.
Stick around for when we do the predictions for next week.
Yeah. Well, let's jump real quick. Here's what Quill
Let
said.
me guess. Well, let's just get him out the way. Let me guess.
No.
FC Dallas.
We gotta build up to it.
Well,
Come on. Talk about
here's
Quill.
what Quill said after the match. Here's just a quick little clip.
Really proud of the group. Especially, last week was just a physical, just take one out of you. And so they had a great week, a bounce back week these guys have been fighting like warriors every day on the training field. I've said it a million times now of late. We're coming together as a team. I feel like this is probably the best performance I've seen this year from beginning to end, on both sides of the ball. Some great goals, some great chance creation, some great defending, box defending the cross beautifully. The commitment, the set pieces defending, the set piece attack. I thought every phase was really, really good, and I couldn't be more proud as a coach. If you're looking sharp on all phases and you win the game, that's credit to the players.
Yeah, Quill went on from there, and he just talked about everybody. I mean, he just name dropped name after name of guys that really stepped in. And credit to, Jacob Jackson came into this one, and after having to save like 12 shots last week in that St. Louis draw, really didn't have to do a whole lot. And that's credit to that back line doing their job, the midfield doing their job. I mean, he had a few saves, but it was nothing super dangerous. I think FC Dallas just really handled Austin FC well, and not that Austin FC, they had a moment or two. So it's not like Austin FC was completely run out the building or anything like that. This was just a good, solid, comprehensive win. That Musa goal, just so much fun and such a good start to the game. I think Anderson Julio was a bit robbed. He should have had a goal, which would have been nice, but maybe a toe offside. But then Bernard Kamungo getting a huge goal as well. So the team is informed. They're facing Colorado Rapids next week. It's a big moment. To know that the team, through all of the ups and downs, have a shot to make it into the postseason. I mean, that's way more than you can ask for, considering just what a mess this season has been for this team. right now sitting. I'm pulling up the sitting a point out behind San Jose. Salt Lake City, of course, has a game in hand on Dallas, so it's going to be, it's going to be tight going forward. The rest of the way here, it's going to be absolutely tight. Every point is going to
Oh,
matter.
it's honestly, teams like FC Dallas and Colorado they're in playoff mode. I mean, this match next week between both teams, it's a must win for both. Both teams need it. Colorado needs it so they can jump, move out of that eighth, ninth playoff spot, play-in spot,
Eighth,
and
eighth.
and fight for position. And Dallas needs it to just simply stay in the hunt for a playoff. So neither team can afford a loss. And I would say a draw would be disastrous for Dallas at home. In all honesty, they cannot afford to lose a match at home. They have to close out at home. They have to find a way to beat Colorado. A draw, a loss, either of those are unacceptable.
Well, let's come back to
Ah,
that because
Marcin's not
I
liking
have
what
to
I'm
head
saying.
out and get my son from practice. But so Marcin, hang around. We'll do some predictions and we'll talk about it. This is going to be a playoff kind of game this weekend. But
Yep.
before we do that, of course, we're going to talk about North Texas Soccer Club, who
Yep.
had a really disappointing weekend, a Sunday night where they just struggled against the worst team in the MLS Next Pro Western Conference in an absolute must-win for them really to stay in competition in that postseason push. Now, it's not a complete disaster. They have 3 games left. They get points. They're going to be in the mix, but this was a tough one. They found the go-ahead goal. Actually had a PK that Sam Sarver skied. Had a late goal that seemed to have them in prime position, and then Sporting Kansas City 2 found just a corner kick goal that just sent it into the shootout, and Colorado. I mean, Sporting Kansas City had all the momentum at that point. So
Don't think about
I know I'm
Colorado.
getting
But
just a
you know what?
lot of
It's a
context.
frustrating draw. We talked about how this team needs to uh, get itself in playoff mode, and this is a match. I mean, they made mistakes they've been making all season. I mean, that Sarver penalty is the reason we didn't win, and a mistake from a player we have not seen make mistakes this year. And it's really, I think they'll still make the playoffs, but honestly, they needed that win if they wanted to have a shot at hosting a playoff match, and that draw right there, it it hasn't killed their season, but they are definitely going to have to be road dogs when they get to playoffs, and frankly, we've seen it. They follow up 2 must win results with just a dog of a game, and we've seen that from them all season long, and it that's just who they are. They're a young team, and they're just you know they've shown that they can get it together for a couple of games, but they need to do it for more than 2 games in the playoffs. Uh, and frankly, they can't have any more performances like this. That's a win. It should have been a win. It should have been 2 points minimum. They're lucky they didn't find a way to lose this game. They practically found a way not to get the win. So I am disappointed, but not surprised.
Yeah. So plenty for them to play for. 3 more games, 2 away. They go to Minnesota.
Get results.
You got to get results. You
You're in.
got to get points. And it's going to be tough. But hey, we've seen them in these situations before. The back is up against it. It looks like Sam Sarver is at least going to be around, continue to be around the team. They absolutely need him. But just a tough one for this young squad. All right. Well, I wish we could talk North Texas more. Chris, I would love to hear Chris's comments. We got another question from a Nuked listener here. What are we going to do with the goalkeeper situation, playoff or not? Is our starter healthy? How do you bench a hot keeper? And it's a good question. Yeah, Paz is out with a hamstring injury, and it does seem like he's going to be out for a bit longer. I mean, when you hear your injured player joining the broadcast booth, like all right, he's.
I don't think that there's any changes to be made. I think Colodi, he'll go back to being the number one. Uh, I mean, and if Paz comes back, I'm fairly certain that they're not gonna just throw him back in. So I think you run with Colodi. Jackson's had a good run, but I think there's way too many questions around him still. You're happy. You can say, hey, we have a solid number two who can perform. But I think Colodi has shown that he's the guy to start until Paz gets 100%. And even then, you write the hot hand. Colodi, I think, is the guy going into the playoffs unless Paz can come back, you know, before that. But coach's decision. He could say, hey, it don't matter. Paz is the number one guy. He would be right to do that. But I'm just saying, if Colodi gets us into the playoffs, then you write the hot hand into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Jacob Jackson just did so well against St. Louis. He deserves all the plaudits, the love coming from the fan base, and he did fine on Saturday night. He did not embarrass himself or anything like that, and that's what you want. But it was a little more of like, hey, he's a backup
It
keeper
was
right now.
it's a job addition for him. He was traded for, and basically his contract's out at the end of the year, and he's basically made his case to be brought back next year uh, as probably a number two. Like I said, Dallas is not a team that's going to sit on riches. They have three good goalkeepers. One of them is going to go. It could be Paz, it could be Coladi, it could be Jackson. One of them will get they all get signed, and one will probably get sold at some point or traded. But I couldn't say who.
Well, thank you for the question. Good stuff. I mean, it's funny how these storylines come. You think like, is Michael Colodi just, did the team reward him over Carrera? You thought Carrera was going to get that number two spot, and it's just how rosters develop. And this team has an eye for talent, finding some interesting talent across the league.
Carrera, it falls under that, riches. They realized that Colodi was a solid number two and a potential future starter for them, and had surpassed Carrera. And Carrera, they were like, hey, we can't keep him as number three. We either got to loan him out, or if somebody really wants him, like I said, this team's not going to sit on riches. They're going to sell, sell, sell.
All right, so let's do it. Let's get this Rapids and FC Dallas matchup this weekend here in Frisco. Of course,
Marcin's been waiting for this moment.
34 points. Colorado, 39 points. Of course, yeah, both teams need this. I mean, Colorado, 1 point. I mean, they want to push themselves up, but of course, it's not sort of a deadly loss if they do. Away games are always tough in this league, in every league. But yeah, a win for Dallas would put them at 37 points, which could potentially push them back into the playoff, that play-in game. So it's a huge match. And frankly, both teams coming off wins. And Colorado, I think Colorado beat Houston at Houston, right?
Yes.
Which is massive. So it's not like coming in.
It turned out pretty good. Yeah, good saves. Good penalty goal from Bassett with the kick in, I guess you could say. He definitely rolled in there. The goalie didn't know what the hell was happening and whatnot. And it was a good early goal for us. Then we had the other one by Dynamo, which was, but it's okay. They tapped it in. Even though Wallace and Makovic, sorry, I can never say his name properly. Mihailovic, thank you. Yappy definitely has been holding his ground on the two new players, which I'm getting used to right now, so I'm really bad with names and stuff like that.
The guy that won you the match, which was the guy that you brought in to replace Mihailovic.
Yes.
Paxton, what's his name? Paxton Aronson, who basically delivered you guys the win. And I want to highlight that he scored the winning goal as starting as an attacking midfielder as a 10. And he highlights the fact that these two teams, Colorado and Dallas, don't look anything like they looked like back in April 20th when we had that wild 3-3 shootout, which I know for a fact Colorado thought they should have won and would love nothing better than to come to Dallas and get that win they believe that they're owed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this game's going to be heated. I wouldn't be surprised if it's chippy. I think both teams know there's a lot on the line. They both remember the April game, and they both want to show that they're not the same team from that month, that they're both better than they were. So I'm pretty fired up for this match.
I'm definitely curious on what's going to happen, especially since we lost a couple of our top players, and other ones had to step in and take care of business. Sorry, I'm trying to not be an asshole.
Hey man, hey, you get to call what you think, how you think's going to win. So that means you got to be about it.
I mean, okay,
Is this going to be a wild?
Just to keep it on the short note, I think it's going to be 5-2 Colorado.
Oh my god!
Oh man, ouch! Kick me in the nuts right there.
We may have.
Hey, that's confidence right there. I told him not to hold back, and he's calling for a route. I'm gonna counter that and say I don't think your team scored 5 goals this year yet, and they're not.
They will against you.
They're not gonna score 5 goals against FC Dallas. I think we get a little bit of of what we saw. I think both teams are different. I'm going to say it's 2-1 FC Dallas with a late goal. I think it's going to be a drawish game. I think both teams are going to, the importance of the game means that they won't take undue necessary chances. They're both going to be looking for the other team. And my biased take is Dallas gets the late equalizer. I know Marcin disagrees. Like I said, he thinks it's going to be a rout.
No, it's going to be, because you guys have a shit record at home. Shit record.
We do.
Have you guys won a game at home? One?
Yes.
3.
We just did.
One?
We just did. We just did.
I wasn't there for that one.
We started a new streak.
But that you are right. I mean,
okay.
FC Dallas has not. That has been the huge storyline of the season. Now, these past couple months, it's begun to improve. Yeah, it's been a problem.
I will say this much, because the rivalry between both of our teams, Colorado is going to bring their top lineup into the game.
All right.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward.
So especially because of the MLS, all that stuff, the MLS Cup and whatever not, and it's going to happen. So yeah, I definitely expect a brawl. I expect a lot of penalties. I expect a lot of yellow and reds. And I hope it happens.
I expect a lot of yellows, reds. Hopefully not on our team.
Yeah, hopefully on your team.
Colin, your prediction.
So I'm gonna go a little bit more the statistical route and everything. Colorado's road form recently, I think we're not taking that into account. They lost 3-0 to the Galaxy 3 games ago, and then they lost on the road to Kansas City 4-2. The road form for Colorado, losing to the two worst teams in the West. Maybe St. Louis is in between those two teams. As much as I don't have that much hatred for Colorado, I don't see you're going against a team in Dallas, which on the road and at home has 2 wins and a draw at home, and has 2 draws on the road against two games of rivalry games. 1 game is against one of the top teams in the West, 1 against the top team in the East, and then the 5th game, I don't remember who it was against. But this is a team that, ever since we got rid of Lucho Acosta, we've gotten at least a point. And we have not lost a game without having Lucho in the lineup. I don't think we lose this game at home, but I do think it's going to be pretty equal. But I think what happens is it's going to come down to what managers do in the game. And what I mean by that is going to be your substitutions, and you're going to be your tactical arrangements, and everything after the halftime break. I think it's going to be pretty much a stalemate. Either both teams are going to be cautious, or both teams are going to be swinging for the fences, which both these teams have done in these situations towards the end of the season. I vividly remember I think it was 2016, whenever Dallas was leading the West and Colorado was doing all right that year, I believe, or it was 15, one of the two, and we were both fighting for playoff spots, and we were doing pretty well. And it was a stupid game. It was one of those we were swinging for the fences, still trying to keep that first place spot, trying to win Supporter Shield. And then Colorado was either trying to keep their spot towards the bottom of the playoff line or try to go up for more spots for a home playoff game. And that game ended up being a 1-1 draw with, I think it was 6 or 7 yellow cards. I think it's going to be a very similar game because it's not just one person fighting for Supporter Shield at the top of the race and we have someone in the middle of the pack. This is two teams that are trying to avoid not only that play-in match, so we can have that extra break, but also someone who's trying to secure their spot in the playoffs. Colorado can do that here if they get a win, all they need, I believe, based off of our loss, would be a draw and I think 2 points is what it would be statistically to secure a playoff spot, based on how results go around us and predictions and everything. So Colorado's going to be trying to get that win. So it's one of those things for me where I'm going, like I said earlier in the show, I'm being a little bit delusional. I'm going with a 2-1 draw FC Dallas, or a 2-1 win FC Dallas. And what I think is going to happen is it's going to be either Petar Musa bailing us out, or it's going to be someone like Sam Sarver or even a Anderson Julio off the bench getting that late goal. And I think it's going to be not one of those where it's like a beautiful goal or team goal. I think it's going to be one of those scrappy accidental mistakes at the back from Colorado. And it's going to be one of those, we get it in the 85th, 80th minute, and we just bunker and hold on for the win out.
Coop's just not saying it out loud. He's saying own goal is gonna make a
Okay.
You know
So between the three of you, what do you think the score will be?
Well, we still got Nathan.
Yeah, no, I'm going.
Coop and I both agreed 2-1.
Yeah. Sorry, Nathan.
It's gonna be a feisty one. And actually, guys, unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave the conversation because I have to run and pick up my son from practice. So
All right.
we're gonna have to leave
1
it there.
second.
Marcin, go.
Prediction.
One question. I will bet each of you $100 that Colorado will win. Are you willing to take that bet?
No, I'm not. I don't bet.
I'll take it.
Oh, Jose.
I'll take it, yeah.
Jose, you want it 100? Put 100 on it?
All right.
Of course.
All right.
Although if
You want to put 100 on it also?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Nathan, where are you at?
I don't bet like that.
I get either triple score or I get double score if I win. So if not, I got a double pay.
All right, Nathan's got to go, man.
Yeah, I got to run, guys.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for Unyoked for the questions. Thanks for the views. Of course, we'll post the audio later. Jose, Marcin, Colin, thanks. Good night, guys.
These are guys.
Nice.